some stillness and prepare ourselves for the present. Now let us rise in body and in spirit, or in spirit, and sing hymn number 38, Morning Has Broken. After the final verse, or after the final verse of the hymn, the children may be excused for religious education. Good morning. Good morning. Far north from here, just north of the cozy town of Trinidad, empties the mouth of the Klamath River into the Pacific. It is a beautiful and awesome spot, sacred to the Yurok, who have dwelled there forever. To the Yurok, the world is a floating and vibrating disk, floating on a surrounding ocean and vibrating in resonance to the tides. The Klamath River bisects the world. Directions are reckoned not by the four cardinal points, but as either upstream or downstream the Klamath. This is the land of the redwood forest, and for the Yurok, every tree, rock, path, and stream is imbued with spirit. Each summer, our family passes a week or two in the region. I'm not sure why, but the mouth of the Klamath is for me the spiritual center of the world. Right abutting the north shore of the mouth rises a slender granite rock named Oregos, whose shape resembles that of an elderly woman carrying a baby basket on her back. The Yuroks say that Oregos is a spirit who chose to be the guardian of the river mouth, selecting the seasons for the fish to enter the river in order to provide nourishment for the people. I always sit near Oregos. I meditate Oregos. My whole natural theology sprouted from my contemplative moments, shrouded in fog and the trickling sun rays and the shimmering wavelets that all blended together at Oregos. The basket and the fish, the woman and the baby, somehow stir up in me a sense of unity and feeling of spiritual progression. This is the Garden of Eden before the notorious fall. The original blessing, a term coined by the former Dominican priest Matthew Fox, as an antidote to the idea of original sin. Fox's proposition actually got it kicked out of the Dominican order for the unorthodox belief by then Cardinal Ratzinger, now Pope Benedict XVI. But the miracle of experience, and in my view, the miracle of the human mind, is that two individuals in the same setting and at the same time can take home radically different memories of the moments together. My 7-year-old grandson, Eugene, being of a highly different temperament, whose attention is fixated on playing video games for hours and hours, and who suffers from social and physical awkwardness, and for whom the notion of spirit is ridiculous, it's just the wind, he announces, came with me this year to the Klamath. We visited the south bank of the river last week. He was so resistant about hiking there, too much effort, and we had to ford a small estuary at high tide, an action that resulted in his getting his shoes wet. Lots and lots of groaning. But once we crossed over to the beach, an expansive sand spit on whose surface sits a large solitary rock, called Sister Rock by the Yurok, sister to Oregos, Eugene grew calm. The driftwood peppering the beach fascinated him. He picked out one small log and pasted placed it on the bosom of Sister Rock, as though he were performing a ritual. A few days later, he asked that we return to the beach to recover his log. Eugene, then, was present for his own spiritual encounter, interpreted through the lens of a budding scientist. So we have two sets of experiences, one semi-mystical, mine, and the other rational, secular, but also a developmental milestone in a kid's life, both occurring where the sea and the Klamath